Hi, how you doing? Great. Thanks for coming in, Eddie. We're glad that you applied and want to know more about us. The question's gonna be very simple, and we won't judge you for any answer you give. Sounds good. Awesome. Now, how did you find out about us? Well, I got word from ads on the internet. I seen most of what you guys do on TV, and a friend recommended that I work here because he thought this would be a perfect fit for me. Cool. Awesome. Now, what skills would you say you bring to the table? I'm a good communicator, I'm great with time management, and I'll make sure I provide the best friendliness to my peers on and off the clock. Good to hear. Well, we have one last question to ask you, Eddie, and then you're free to go. Why do you want to work here? Well, frankly, I love what you guys do, and it would be great to get some extra money on the side since I'm still in college. I'll stop right there. I'm sorry? What did you just say? I said, I love what you guys do. How can you love what we do when you haven't even started working here yet? Well, sir, with all due respect, I don't think I have to start working here to know you have a great establishment in your hands. How can you call us an establishment when you haven't even defined what the word establishment means? Was I supposed to do that? Oh, and now you're not even prepared for the interview. Is this some kind of sick joke to you? No, nothing about this is funny. So you don't think this is funny? Am I not funny to you? Your resume?
Interviews can be one of the scariest things a person has to go through. Just think about it. It's you against a person with a clipboard, and as soon as you sit in that chair, you have to convince that person that you are competent enough to answer their questions. It can definitely be nerve-wracking, and the pressure is real. For 15 to 30 minutes, you have to try your hardest not to fold.
So where do you see yourself in 50 years? Just give me the job!
Why are interviews so scary though? Shouldn't they just be a chill way to let the interviewer know who you are?
I've had to go through a bunch of different interviews throughout my life. College interviews, job interviews, scholarship interviews, you name it. Over time, I've learned how to handle each one better than the last, but it doesn't mean I still don't get nervous from time to time.
A lot of you have probably gone through the same thing, so I can let you know right now that you're not alone. I think it's important to see what kinds of situations you can get yourself in when being interviewed, because every experience is unpredictable. Let's see if I can look back on the types of interviews I've been in to see how interesting they really were. One-on-one in-person interviews are the most commonly talked about when on the topic of being interviewed. Right from the jump, you know you have to be prepared. You gotta pick the best clothes to wear, make sure you smell great, and be ready for any type of question the interviewer might throw at you.
How would you introduce yourself to someone you've never met? Hi, I'm not a convicted felon.
Once you enter that room, all the nerves start hitting you immediately. I was taught that the first things you need to do to make a good first impression is make eye contact, give a firm handshake, and wait for the interviewer to tell you to sit down before you do.
Let's go, bro. Hey! You sit in my seat!
The interview usually starts with easy questions to make you feel more comfortable once the harder questions start coming in. The easy questions usually consist of, tell me about yourself, what do you like to do in your free time, and
what are your strengths and weaknesses? My strengths are that I don't have any weaknesses, and my weaknesses are that I don't have any strengths. So you could say I'm a pretty well-balanced person. What?
It always made me a little nervous that every time I would say something, I could see the interviewer write it down in their little notepad. I wish I could just grab it out of their little hands and see what they were writing.
Can I actually see what's in your notes real quick? Thanks. Lost cause!
For interviews in general, it's always annoying whenever the interviewer asks you questions that could easily be answered by just looking at the resume you gave them.
Okay, and your name is? Obama.
All jokes aside, in-person interviews are actually really cool because you get to see someone who is already involved in what you're trying to join, and it gives them an opportunity to see what you really like besides trying to figure that out from just looking at a paper. I've only had a few phone interviews in my life, and I would say they went pretty well. You don't have to prepare as much for it physically. You could be doing anything prior to it and just hop on the phone when you're ready.
Oh crap. I gotta do my interview.
Something that I notice all interviewers think is funny is that they like to remind you that this isn't your average interview, they realize. And I wish I had the audacity to just hang up on them after they say that. I remember I had this one phone interview that took so long that I started looking up the answers to their questions after the 15-minute mark. I guess the interviewer is also so comfortable in their own house that they think they can take the whole day to ask you questions that can easily be answered by looking up generic man interview answers. Generally, phone interviews are essentially the same as real life ones, without the real life. They ask you questions, you answer them, you both hang up once it's done, and then you overthink your answers even though it actually doesn't matter anymore.
I'm not the only one, right? Right?
They're simple, and they can sort of be casual too. Just make sure it doesn't get too casual.
And then the police started chasing us, so my friend throws this huge rock outside of our window, and it completely shatters our windshield. Best Easter ever. What do you mean the interview's over? We just started.
I've always been pretty comfortable with video interviews. You're in your house, which is already a pretty comfortable setting. You don't have to be unfamiliar with your surroundings, which could be used to your advantage. However, I feel like so many more things can go wrong. You could have technical difficulties.
Sorry, I'm having some issues with my computer. Do you think we could do this another time?
Huh. At least you went through with it. Your background could be distracting.
Best time I showed leadership was when... Oh, are you looking at my Impractical Jokers posters in the back? No, I wasn't. Yeah, you were. Wait, I'll show you. Can we get back to the interview, please? I would say Murr is my favorite, but Sal just has that shy type beat where it's just like...
Or you can get trigger happy.
So why don't we start this interview by telling me about yourself?
Personally, some tips that I would give for video interviews would apply for any type of interview. Make sure you're prepared, make eye contact even though it's only camera feed, and give strong answers. You could even show them some of your personality through the camera.
Interviews may seem like a simple concept, but it can go completely wrong if you end up doing the wrong things. In my experience, it took a lot of them to realize what I was doing wrong and how I can improve. In short, it can be fun at times. It can definitely show the interviewer why you belong at the place you're trying to go to. However, there is one question that I'm sure everyone has been asked in an interview, and it can be the scariest, most powerful question there is. Do you have any questions for us? It's so open-ended. It lingers in your mind hours and hours after the interview. Do I have any questions for you? If I don't, why don't I? Does this mean I didn't do enough research? Why would they even ask me a question like that? Am I supposed to have prepared questions? However, after months and months of research, I finally developed the perfect answer that anybody can use when asked the infamous question. Do you have any questions for us? Why won't you just give me the